This is the creature you saw in the forest, Miss Mills. The one who controls the horsemen. And now we know his name.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and this week on Sleepy Hollow, we got a little peek into the 7th Circle of Hell. Well, it was really a beach on the 7th Circle of Hell, but I imagine it was pretty nice. Nicer than the beach near my house, anyway. So this episode really pushed the main storyline forward in a way that the last episode didn't. We found out who the big bad was, and we kind of found out who the medium bad minions were. We also delved really deeply into the mythology of the show, which I love, so obviously this has probably been my favorite episode so far, just because I'm a big fan of the fantasy genre, and it went really deep into fantasy. So let's recap. Biggest thing we learned this week, Moloch is the big bad. He's basically like Satan's chief lieutenant. He has a seat on the Parliament of Hell in the mythology of Milton's Paradise Lost and Dante's Inferno. It's kind of like the two different mythologies that they're drawing from. 7th Circle of Hell refers to Dante's Inferno, but when they talk about Moloch the fallen angel in this episode, they're talking about Milton's Paradise Lost. So there's two different books, both of which were required reading in school. Raise your hand if you totally had trouble getting through them. So this is actually that really cool poem that they read at the end. It's just part of a poem. It's a big verse that you can find on the wiki, but this is how it goes. First Moloch, horrid king besmeared with blood of human sacrifice and parents' tears. He's basically, in the mythology of Milton, this god of sacrifice, so people sacrifice their children to him. But on the show, he's actually really just trying to accelerate the apocalypse, so he's basically bringing all these demons like the horsemen and these other bad things into the human realm. That's basically where we pick up with the red herring in this episode, that box that everyone's trying to find, item 37. Doesn't that sound like that Marvel movie, item 47? They're going to find this alien weapon, and then Patton Oswalt's going to come out and do like one of his Star Wars filibuster speeches. Speaking of filibuster speeches, Ichabod definitely had some great speechifying in this episode. His speech in the beginning was probably one of my favorite Ichabod speechifying moments all season so far. At least we know if this apocalypse stuff doesn't work out, then he totally has a second career running a relationship hotline. Farewell, Yolanda, farewell. But originally, I thought we were going to meet some of the bad witches in this episode. Remember, we met the burnt witch in episode 2. She's basically like the leader of the bad witches. But in this episode, we met Hessians, which I think are going to be a different group on the show, even though they do kind of practice a form of black magic. I mean, they had to read that book to open the portal to hell. Basically, what Hessians are in a real-world historical context are just people who hail from this area in Germany called Rheinhessen. It's basically like wine country in Germany, which is kind of a bit misleading because it's not like they grow evil wine. But the funny thing is, in the mythology of Sleepy Hollow and all this, they're super, super evil. So every time you think of Hessian now, you're going to think of somebody super, super bad. It does stand to reason, though, that they all serve Moloch, all the bad people on the show, even if they are separate groups of people. Like I said, one of the things I really like most about this episode is how much information it gave us about the overarching storyline. So we know that Moloch is basically trying to bring as many demons and fallen angels into the world as possible to kind of jumpstart the apocalypse. And obviously the horsemen are just part of that. One of the things I didn't really like quite as much is Abbie's moments with her sister. Obviously they had to reconcile somehow because the three of them have to become a team. But I do feel like every time something really, really big needs to happen, they have to convince Abbie that they need to do it. But here's something really, really cool. Joss Whedon fans will really like this. So remember how her sister Jennifer said that she basically went on missions to find things for Corbin? I really love the way they brought Corbin back into the show. Remember, he's like Harry on Dexter, so he's still dead, but he's still very much a part of the show. Like, he's a character in the show, even though he's not alive. So Jennifer basically went on missions to find things for him all over the world, and obviously she picked up all of her fighting skills. But it's really fun to think about it in the context of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So think about Jennifer as being like a slayer and Corbin being like her watcher. So the two of them actually operated very much within the mythology of the show and totally believed in the idea that they needed to stop the apocalypse. So I'll be really interested to find out in future episodes what other items Corbin has procured and kind of hidden all over Sleepy Hollow. Either way, I'm going to ignore some of the lame special effects and say that this episode was great. I give it a total B+. I'm not quite ready to break into like the A's and the A- yet. We'll see. Maybe when we get closer to the season finale. But I'm looking forward to next season. It got a season 2 pickup already, so we know we're going to get 13 episodes in season 1, and we'll get 13 episodes next year, and it'll be season 2. So it'll be like a limited run, like a British series. But in other big TV news, this week is actually a really, really big week on my channel. There's a bunch of shows coming back. So tomorrow I'll be doing videos for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Supernatural. Then on Wednesday, there'll be Arrow Season 2, and American Horror Story Coven. So there'll be tons of TV on my channel. And remember, Friday is another episode of Korra, and then Sunday, Walking Dead comes back. Make sure you subscribe to get all those videos, and as always, please like and share this video. It totally helps me out. In the meantime, you can click here to watch my other Sleepy Hollow episodes, and you can click here to watch my Arrow Season 2 preview. Thanks for watching, everyone. Now say farewell, Yolanda, while we all high-five each other. Farewell, Yolanda.